Here we go.
Oh,
Wait, why am I the...
brotherly? Even if the morrow is barren of promises, nothing shall forestall my return. Sorry about that technical difficulties there, everybody, but here we are for the HYPECAST. It's the Genesis HYPECAST today.
Woo!
Yeah, maybe.
Woo!
All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, thanks for tuning in to the Final Fantasy VII remake, or Final Fantasy VII Part 3 HYPECAST. Let's get going with this one. We're talking about Genesis today. Is everybody hyped for Genesis?
Yeah.
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 I'm hyped for Part 2.
We're gonna get hyped for Genesis.
We're gonna
That's what
get
we're gonna
hyped for Genesis today. All right, and this is what we're gonna do to get hyped for Genesis. What we're gonna talk about. Are we talking about a major role, minor role, a cameo, an Easter egg reference? Something about Genesis, and the reason why our conversation is happening today as well, because Gackt, the voice actor and the model for the for Genesis, this is who Genesis was modeled after, posted last week about returning to a studio he hasn't been to in over I don't know, maybe 10 years. Which, hey, tell you a little secret, it's been maybe like 20, but hey, who's counting? That really hurts my feelings. Yeah, it's he's talking about being in the studio recording his voice for the first time in over 10 years. So what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? Does that mean that Genesis is back? I mean, let's dive in. Well, all right. So this is the HYPECAST, and we are dedicated to bringing the hype in these podcasts. All right, this is what this whole thing is here for. So it's important to me that this is not fabricated hype. Okay, we don't do fabricated hype around here. Hype must be pure, and it must be with you. Like it must come from here, the heart. And so it's no surprise when I say this, but none of us here are really big fans of Genesis. Okay, so instead, we are going to focus on what will make us hype if Genesis was in the game. All right, we're going to focus on how can we take a character that we're not so thrilled about and actually be thrilled about it. Okay, what's going to be at the end of this, that at the end of when credits are rolling on Part 3, we go, oh, yo, Genesis might be one of the best characters in the game. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We went too far.
Not bad. Okay, all right.
Took it too far, bro.
Bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Reel it in.
No, sorry. Reel it back in. But hey, listen. At the end of Intergrade, the DLC, kind of like Nero. And I got
Nero was they did Nero pretty interestingly.
I didn't like Nero, and I didn't like very much of any of Dirge of Cerberus. So the fact that I ended up liking Nero at the end of remake Intergrade was kind of special. Yo, maybe there's hope for Genesis here. So I want to give I think it might be important to give a little background on Genesis for those who maybe not, maybe blocked it out of their mind, maybe forgot about it, maybe never played the game. Who knows, right? So who is Genesis? Genesis was given to his foster parents, right? He was given to the foster parents in Benora who were affiliated with Shinra to watch over Genesis as he grew up. And then these foster parents actually grew attached to Genesis. However, their true intent did not get through to Genesis and he killed them. So
as one does.
As one does. I guess.
As one does.
Also,
that's why Genesis is loveless, bro. He just be killing parents.
Just be out there doing that stuff, man.
Because we have no shortage of people without parents in Final Fantasy VII. He wanted to feel included. Is what I'm getting.
Self-proclaimed protector of the planet, right there. I mean, let me just slaughter my parents. So this is all coming from the Crisis Core Ultimania, by the way. Shout out to the livestream.net for the translations on this. Okay, in Dirge of Cerberus's G reports, it says that G was one of the taboos, the two taboos, and they're signifying that they're unique. Right? What does this mean? The two taboos refers to Sephiroth and Genesis. In comparison to Sephiroth, the strongest and worst soldier who tried to seize the life of the planet, Genesis was considered a unique soldier who sealed himself away to protect the planet. So he sees himself as the protector of the planet. Now, Shinra Company, in an effort to conceal the relationship between the company and Genesis, who had threatened the world, regulated information regarding Genesis to the highest level of secrecy and forbids even the use of the name Genesis, much like we did on Final Fantasy TV up until this point. Thus, some
That was a good call.
Thus, some of the scientists who knew detailed information on Genesis began to refer to Genesis as G. Simply G. To whom has been added a word signifying unique. I already said all that. Just like how Weiss, Nero, Rozo, and Azul were given code names corresponding to their colors. So he's just simply known as G. As for what exactly the name meaning unique is, that's a secret at present, and that was in the Crisis Core Ultimania, so not sure if that was supposed to be like revealed or anything. All right, so basically the brothers, because like all the Sviets, all of the deep ground colors, they are injected with Genesis genes that creates that connection, a bond between the cellular units, and that is why they say brother when Nero and Weiss come to pick up Genesis at the end of Crisis Core. They say something along that of will he agree to it? Will he join us or not, basically? And they call him brother. But I think this was in Dirge of Cerberus, like one of the G reports, or it was a Crisis Core thing. But anyways, it says in the Ultimania that Genesis ends up rejecting this and decides to have himself sealed in a water-filled chamber below Midgar. Now,
as one does.
As one does.
Oh, Genesis.
So referring to these G reports, one of the G reports, G report number 3, just to reiterate that G slumbers below Midgar, silently abiding his awakening. So that just kind of goes into when we were talking about potential names and we said reawaken. Genesis. Also, or so tell the stories of the vagrants who dwell in the slums of the metropolis. However, could there exist some truth behind these rumors? Being one of the few who was involved in their construction, I know all too well of the vast caverns that sprawl deep beneath our city's streets. This will more than likely be my final entry. The last fragment of data I have uncovered reads as follows. Soldiers branded with color. These are the hellspawn of G. Okay. All right, so there you go. Genesis is in a cavern underneath of Midgar, a water-filled cavern underneath of Midgar at the end of Dirge of Cerberus. After you battle, like Weiss falls into this cavern, and then at the secret ending, Genesis awakens from this blast that comes out when Weiss enters it. He awakens, he goes up, he picks up Weiss, and he goes something along the lines of, "There's still much work to be done, brother." And then he flies off into what looks like a night sky. All right, we don't know what the world outside looks like, but we just know that maybe the planet is in need, because that's why he sealed himself away. He considers himself the protector of the planet. So, and he would only awaken when the planet was in trouble. Okay, so I think I think that kind of gets us. And then just to kind of tie it into the FF7R trilogy. Well, it was in chapter 14, I think, when Hojo refers to the G. Let me see. I wrote this down. Where did I write that down? Here we go. In Deliverance from Chaos in Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hojo made a proposal during the meeting suggesting G-type soldier members be possible candidates, basically breeding with Aerith, to mitigate the risks, to ensure that the further studies and stuff like that. So, Genesis has been alluded to in the FF7R trilogy. We also see in Rebirth, I believe, there were mention of G cells as well as S cells, or at least I know for sure that S cells were mentioned, so therefore we can assume that G is also there. Okay. All right. So I can see that you guys are really enthralled about all of them.
Hey, you're doing great.
Great.
This is necessary information. We all need this recap.
All right.
I'm sorry. You're doing absolutely wonderful, Dan.
Thanks, man. Thanks. All right. Now that we're all caught up, what can part 3 do with Genesis that will have us celebrating his return? So I want to start with. I don't want to go small and then big. That's how good. Like let's go with the reference. The references. Like not even he's not shown, he's just kind of a cameo, or like he's just an Easter egg reference. And when I was thinking about that, I was like, okay, well, there's no possible way that part 3 is going to ignore Benora. And I think, this is obviously going to be a topic in of itself. We're going to talk about Benora, the location, and kind of go into real detail in a separate hypecast. But as far as like Genesis is concerned here, an Easter egg could simply be we see Benora, we see the the aftermath there of what happens in Crisis Core. Maybe we see Genesis' desk, right? Like we saw in Crisis Core. Maybe we go to his secret hideout. We get to see that kind of stuff. I mean, this is where Genesis was from. Maybe we get references to it. We see the Benora apples, and that's basically our reference points. What do you guys think of that? Like of if we go to these certain locations, they pop up. Like we are also going to be returning to Midgar when we parachute in, or even when we walk through the doors of the slums, we get to come back. If we get the key to Midgar, we get to come back and explore the slums again. Possible that we can go underground, like we did in Remake, and kind of return to that laboratory area. And if we go even deeper, we can run into, where Genesis is slumbering at the moment, stuff like that. And like, of course, maybe even run into some of these other deep ground soldiers and stuff. So, what do you got?
I mean, as far as our discussions with open world is concerned, if we're really going to get the entire world, then it stands to reason that we're going to see as many places from, the not original, like, Benora. We'll see a number of these places. So I feel like it has to be there by virtue of it existing in other Final Fantasy media. Like, we need to see it in the overworld, whether or not it'll have any plot relevance or not, I have no idea. I feel like it'd be cool as like a side piece of content. Like you could perhaps just miss it entirely if you don't bother going to wherever they're gonna, however they'll have you potentially discover it. Because I don't know how or why you would weasel that into the main plot. But then again, they kind of fleshed out Gungaga tremendously with Chapter 9 in Rebirth. So the fact of the matter is that if they really wanted to, they could, shoehorn Benora in somewhere, especially if Genesis is more than just a reference or a cameo. So I don't know. I'm thinking from the perspective of now I'm thinking about our other hypecast about the High Wind. And I'm like, well, it just made me realize, wow, there's a lot of places that we've been to that we've never seen whether it's only in the books or if it's only in, you know, like the movies or whatever. Like, yeah. So I guess I never really thought about, could we visit Benor? But now you've got me wondering. What do you think, Wiley? Are we gonna visit Benor at all?
I mean, I do think that it would be fine as side content, a side quest or something like
That's
that.
all
I
I
don't think
want
it's
from
going to
it.
be. Yeah, I think that's ideal. I don't think this is going to be like a main quest line, type of thing. I just don't see it being inserted into the main plot in that kind of way. There's just not enough meat there for it. And kind of the way that they've been handling some of the compilation stuff through the remake series so far leads me to believe that they're going to keep doing it that way, right? Like we had a chapter that was devoted to Deep Ground, but it didn't hit all of the things that you might expect it to in hindsight. It was still kind of subtle with how it did what it executed, and I think they'll probably do the same sort of thing. They don't lean in too heavy. They just throw out reminders that this is the wider world. We're getting the biggest version of Final Fantasy VII we've ever gotten. So they're going to give us little threads to pull at, but they're not gonna dive deep into a story that's, I would say, 99% relevant for this plot. Now, as Dan knows, and as you know, Lee, we do have a couple of ideas that we're gonna spitball for you guys later that would show what they could do if they wanted to do it in a bigger way. But I'm with you. I think the ideal prospect is side content.
Okay.
Especially with Genesis, just because I feel like, I mean, I know that he has fans, and if you like Genesis as a character, then that's cool. I think it's cool that people like his character. I mean, I'm not gonna uh, lie to you, lovely people on the internet, and say that I'm one of those people, but I think that I feel like the least offensive route you could take with his character is delegate him to side content that could be fleshed out, make him more interesting, but not force him into the plot as much as possible, because the more that I feel like he's going to be inserted, the less. I mean, I don't know if this is a wild statement by any means, but like, I feel like he's probably one of the most controversial characters in all of Seven's lore.
That's funny that you mentioned that,
Yeah.
because I believe Toolman in the waiting room of hype said, would it be off base to say that Genesis is the most controversial character?
Oh,
in
I
Final
didn't see
Fantasy
that yet.
history?
No,
Yeah.
I
great.
On point.
I think Genesis might actually take the crown on that one. I think, and it's not even that he's controversial for any, like, I want to say, like, bad or offensive reason, other than just he adds a really weird element to the plot. He sort of changes and retcons major events and beloved major events that we knew as one way for a long time until he sort of showed up. So I think the safest route to take him in this retelling would just be to go that way of like, hey, here's more information on the guy if you want. Like, if you want to explore, maybe there's like a string of side quests that you can follow that give more lore and might lead off to some sort of payoff where you could do something with his character. Maybe there will be an actual physical cameo, but I feel like, at least from my perspective, if you avoid putting him in the major, like the main plot,
Yeah.
that's probably for the best.
So, yeah. All right. So I'm like Wiley, I keep wanting calling you Genesis. I do want to keep calling you Genesis. Right? I don't.
gotta change
It's
my
the
jacket.
red.
Like,
It's
what
the
do I
red
gotta do?
jacket. But I'm
That's an
so
incident.
close.
An incident.
It's an incident. That's another
That's
incident
an
right
incident.
there.
Write that down.
No, that's
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee.
yeah.
I just- I'm telling
calling
you.
Wiley Genesis is the biggest
It's
incident
the
this channel's
jacket.
ever had.
It's the.
No, you,
I've almost slipped up
second
a
biggest.
couple
The
times.
first one was when I sent someone on vacation.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't in charge of that
I
technical
don't know
difficulty.
anything about that.
Yeah. All right. So it
I like
seems like
thinking about it.
here's the deal, right? This is where it comes down to two different branching paths when it comes to Genesis and speculation on Genesis. Two different paths we can take here. We have the path to hype for those who want Final Fantasy VII Part 3 to end as it does in the original game, leading directly into On the Way to a Smile, Advent Children, and Dirge of Cerberus. That is the path. Like those who want that, we can provide that hype for you. That is the cameo hype. That is the reference, Easter egg reference hype, because we're not going to disturb his slumber until he needs to be awakened at the end of Dirge of Cerberus sometime after that. And then, like, so he's going to stay underneath of Midgar, and that's where he'll be. We'll get those. We got an intergrade. We got introduced to Deep Ground. We've kind of got those teases that they are there, and it introduces that, like, oh, what about those guys? I remember them in that Yuffie DLC, but they never showed up in Part 3. What's that all about? And they're like, hey, here's your Dirge of Cerberus Requiem, right? And then, like, you get your remaster of Dirge of Cerberus, right? And then you'll kind of go in from there. And maybe they remaster Advent Children as well. That would be really cool. I'd like that. And rewrite it a little bit. Now that's your path, right? That's your path. Part 3 ends, so it leads into Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus. In that case, we can't have Genesis come in and interfere with the story, I don't think. Now, we can get him in a flashback when we see the true events of the Nibelheim incident, if that is the case. And it seems like Rebirth was kind of hinting that when Cloud had to step away and go mess with some steam, really slow, so that way Genesis could talk to him.
That pesky valve, man.
That pesky valve. So Genesis could talk. Genesis was like in the back, like he messed with the valve, and then in that way, like, there we go. Now that he is out of the way, he could come down there and talk to Sephiroth.
He can't know I'm here yet.
Yeah, he can't know. So there's that. He could show up in a flashback. He could show up to, like, say, when the real true events of the Nibelheim incident are playing out in Part 3. That's when he could show up. Now, and honestly, that would be good enough reason for Gackt to be back in the studio to kind of maybe re-record some of those lines, so it's not so, like it was in Crisis Core. So
like get things Gackt on track.
Get things Gackt on track. Now you have the other path. All right, we have the other path that I believe that the FF7R trilogy has been building up to, and if not, then it's going to be. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it right now, because I'm one of those people who are like a faithful, like an OG faithful, like don't change anything. But I think that that has gone out the window at this point. I think.
Oh, what was your first inkling?
How did you arrive at that conclusion, Dan?
I think we're well past that now. So it's kind of like, all right, well, if it doesn't end differently, then what was the point, right? So now the other path is we are going to put a bow on the entire Final Fantasy VII saga at the end of Part 3. This is the end, the definitive end to Final Fantasy VII, which means we can't have On the Way to a Smile. We can't have Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus. And of course, those things had to have happened for a remake to happen, okay? Like, so we're not like saying like, oh, those things got canned. No, they're there. And to prove that would be having Genesis be part of the story, because it's like, oh, well, that had to have happened for this to come back and happen. I know that gets a little gets a little wacky. But in the stream of consciousness, all right, time and space don't really matter as much, all right? So we just gotta get yourself into the mindset that this is not a multiverse, it's not a timeline or anything like that. This is it's weird. All right, we don't need to get into that. But Genesis can tap into that, just as I believe that Sephiroth and even Aerith have done, tapping into that, the power of the life stream, the flow of the life stream, the collective unconscious, if you will, that kind of stuff, right? So if Genesis is the protector of the planet, then that would allow for I kind of gave some bullet points. I don't want to give away that because Wiley is going to give a story time with Excalibur, all right? Because that's what you guys came here for. You guys want this story time with Excalibur. But before we get there, because we want to build to that, we want to build to that path of like, oh, Genesis coming back and he's going to be in a either minor or major role. Okay, so that would be story time with with Excalibur, the minor or major role in part 3. But there's an in-between. The in-between here is something that would have you a little excited, Lee, I believe.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If there's something that we could get out of him, I personally like the idea of Chadley being our vessel for... Let's take a divisive character and insert another divisive character onto him. And so let Chadley be the vessel in which we reach Genesis. I think that there's a lot of potential here for interesting combat sims. That's pretty much my big takeaway for Genesis. I just want to fight him. I want to hash out my issues with him in a combat simulation. So, I mean, we were talking about this, privately, and I was like, hey, let me just jot down some ideas I had. And then honestly, this might be a good hypecast in and of itself, like interesting combat sim ideas. But here's like a few that I just came up with, like involving Genesis. These aren't too major, like just interesting little ideas here. I mean, we've already fought Nero and Weiss, and then what you just mentioned with Project G. So I'm thinking of like the late game VR sims here, things like the Brutals and the Legendary combat simulations that we did in Rebirth. So I'd like a deep ground connection one. I want to fight the Sviets. I want to do 3-round gauntlet. Give me Nero, then Weiss, then Genesis. Give me them boys.
Give me them boys.
Give me them boys. Give me them boys. I want a grudge match. I want to play as Sephiroth, and I want to fight Angeal and Genesis. Again, I want to see that. Like, I want to get like Junon. I don't know if they're gonna change how the VR sims work, but if we could get a combat simulation where we could play as Sephiroth and fight on the Junon cannon, like we saw in Crisis Core, that would be really cool. Are they gonna do that? Probably not. It'd probably just be the usual VR sim background, but I thought that'd be cool. Dan, I had an idea for one that I think you would either really like or really dislike, depending on how many soldiers you want to fight and how many soldiers you want to think about. But what if the ultimate gauntlet at the end would be something with Cloud, right? And we gotta fight Roche, Glenn. We gotta fight Glenn. You gotta fight Zack, Angeal, Genesis, Nero, Weiss, then Sephiroth. Just give me them boys.
Give the gauntlet.
Wow. Just the whole lineup. Because honestly, think of it this way. At this point,
that's funny. We're gonna do a Glenn episode and
I'll say
to think about that as a potential. Yeah, it's funny.
No, but like we're reaching a point now where most of those. It's crazy to think that most of those characters I just listed we have fought, and for us to be able to fight Genesis or Angeal in the remake trilogy or Glenn. So I feel like for me, my personal hype that I'm getting out of Genesis is combat situations because I just want to beat the crap out of them. So
I just want to beat
That's fair.
Do you think he'd be a super boss like Weiss was at the end of like Integrate?
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
I would love that. I would love if it's not in the story. Like if it's not in the story.
Can I add this to your pitch, right? Of like a VR battle. They already have his data.
Yeah, they
Crisis
totally
Core,
do.
Mission 515. Is Genesis dead?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that is no concern to me. My interest lay only in his abilities. He showed remarkable growth for a failed experiment. Far more promising than you. That was the description of that battle, but you fight Genesis in a VR battle. So his data's there. He's already ready. So he's ready to go for a battle.
I don't know, man. Just give me the opportunity. Like I feel like part 3, and this isn't just a Genesis thing. This is just with everybody across all the lore. You could set up, and this is where the VR sims are really cool. You can set up some really awesome potential combat scenarios. You could throw, but just the fact that Genesis is there, I mean, there's so many interesting scenarios there alone. Hell, why not have the Prisoner, the Hero, and the Traveler as a combat sim where you play as Zack and you gotta fight each one of, you gotta fight Angel, you gotta fight Genesis, you gotta fight Seth. There's a number of possibilities that they could take that, and that's where I get hyped because again, I think the combat sims are really cool. I think that as late game content, they're very fun, and this is, at least personally speaking, again that least controversial road. It's like, hey, people who like him, cool, we get to fight him, we get to see him. People who don't like him, okay, cool, you still get to kick his ass. So like, win-win, dude.
Win-win.
You know,
yeah, he's
win-win.
there. But so I know this is kind of like a topic that would keep spiraling, but just to ask you, what do you think? Like, so if that happens and you're like, all right, I'm cool that he didn't really have a major role, but that also does mean that at the end of part 3, it continues with Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus. Like, it will continue.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
You like that?
I'm personally,
because for you, it's over,
I'm
right?
fine with that.
for you,
Right.
it's, yeah. So
I'm cool with that.
here's another route that I didn't write down, but I just thought of it like in my head. I was like, wait a second. You know how like we had Intergrade, which came out very deep ground, heavy focused and stuff like that. They have already announced that they're not doing DLC for Rebirth. Like, they're not doing DLC. They didn't say anything about a spinoff. They didn't say anything about like remastering something. So like, you know how we had Crisis Core Reunion come out a year before Rebirth. Do you think Dirge of Cerberus Requiem is what I'm calling it? And that's why Gackt is in the studio to record for Dirge of Cerberus remaster, to kind of throw that in there. Now
you're asking hard question, bro.
I'd actually, okay, this is gonna sound crazy. I'd actually be interested in a remaster of Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, I would play a remaster.
I would play a remaster as well.
The only reason why I would
what made it hard.
Yeah, the controls itself were yeah. So I think a game, a remaster of Dirge of Cerberus in an actual modern day third person shooter would actually be pretty fun to play. It doesn't change the story, but the Crisis Core Reunion had some voice actors come back, some voice actors replaced, but for the most part, it just kind of kept everything exactly the same. So I mean, I guess Gackt could be going back in to re-record his lines for Genesis. Or maybe even like they did some rewrites. If there was a remaster of Dirge of Cerberus coming. And then hear me out on this one. If it came out before part 3, that's when I would go, it is absolutely the definitive end of part 3. like the Final Fantasy 7 at part 3. Because they're giving you Dirge of Cerberus so that way you know that story. So that way we can say, hey, this happened, so that part 3 could happen. But then again, that's some wild speculation. That's some wild speculation.
I mean, I don't want to derail this topic altogether, but do you guys think that Dirge would even sell as well in compare? Like, do you think it's even worth their time to? Because I would like them to do it, but you got to think from their perspective. As far as 7 goes, it would
make me think, well, how well did Reunion sell? Like, how well did Crisis Core Reunion sell?
Right, but Crisis Core is much more.
It was much more well received back then.
Much more well received.
It's got Zach,
and even now,
love Zach, but people love Vincent.
People do love Vincent. You know, you're talking about ideas that you just came with. What if Gackt is just doing the theme for part 3?
Oh,
that's why he's there.
If Gackt is the theme song, wait a second.
How did we miss that? That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
You know, he could just be honestly there for music, whether it's the theme or just any music. What you just said made me think of that. Like, hey, what if he's just recording music for part 3?
So he had we had Survive Said the Prophet for Hollow, for remake. Then we had Lauren Allred for remake or Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
And now Gackt for part 3. Woo! Now if Gackt is doing the theme song for part 3 though, like Genesis is in it, right? Like you can't
100%. Yeah.
So he said Delta Sen, he said recording my voice. Did he specify voice
singing
work?
His voice work.
I know it's so hard to like, you know. Yeah, that's interesting. Recording his voice is what he's, at least that's what the translation I seen. Like but yeah. Interesting, right guys? I don't know. So there's that idea of like throwing in the twist of like maybe it's Dirge of Cerberus that's being remastered and he's going back in to re-record his voices. Now let's get back to let's get Gackt on track right now.
Gackt on track.
Let's get Gackt on
Gackt
track.
on track.
I do want to throw in another Easter egg, potential Easter, whatever. Was the Cavern of Wonders is up there in the north? That's where you battle Minerva in Crisis Core. So if the Cavern of Wonders not as prominent as Benora, which if they don't have like some sort of Benora, like the remnants of Benora in part 3, I don't know what to think anymore. Like,
yeah, that'd be really weird.
Yeah, because they even have Benora Juice like posters up, so they're saying that this does exist. So there's also Modeaheim as well. So Modeaheim could have some sort of Easter egg reference, like some sort of like, hey, there's some history here, and that history does involve Genesis being here. And those are your Easter egg potentials, your references. Now, when the goddess descends from the sky, wings of hype and doubt spread afar. She guides us to bliss, her everlasting gift, or her gift everlasting. It's time for story time with Excalibur.
All right. So a little preface here, ladies and gents. So Dan switched the concept over to me. And what I did was I took that concept and I wrote it as 3 snippets. And each snippet is sort of an idea for a different interlude piece. And these will go chronologically. So that's what this is going to be. So here we go. Glittering dust hangs in the air. Zach sits in a church pew, staring blankly ahead as rainbow light spills through shattered stained glass. A smear of his memories seem to bleed out from a rift in the sky. A single dark feather drifts down to the wooden floorboards. Genesis descends through the splintered ceiling, his dark wing unfurling in a ripple of fire. Zach raises his buster sword. You, I thought you were dead. Before he can act, a gentle hand touches his arm. A familiar voice comes from beside him. Wait, he's not our enemy. Not in this place. Zach recoils. Aerith. He was alone until a moment ago, but somehow it feels like she was with him the whole time. She smirks and jabs a finger at him. You've got some explaining to do, mister. Whispers shriek from the rafters, swarming like a living storm. Yellow flowers on the floor burn black, their glow snuffed out one by one. Aerith lifts her hands. The barrier of light presses back the darkness. She trembles with the effort. They're not just after me. They're trying to erase the planet's memory itself. If this sanctuary falls, everything unravels. Genesis steps forward, eyes blazing. That is why I am here. Zach scowls. Just what is going on? They lock eyes. The planet calls to me, Zach. I stood in Minerva's judgment. She gave me only life and purpose. Aerith's eyes widen. Minerva? She smiles. She roused me in my slumber to guard the memory of the planet, to stand where mortals cannot. Zach scoffs. And I'm supposed to believe that? The guy who abandoned everything suddenly cares about the world? Genesis' voice is calm, unyielding. I was exile. I was shame. But the will of the planet burns louder than pride. Even a broken man can be reforged as a shield. Zach looks down at his hands, at the buster sword. Can he? Whispers slam against Aerith's barrier. Cracks of black lightning race across it. She falters. I can't hold them. Genesis steps past Aerith, his dark wing enveloping her. Let us descend into the heart of the fracture. The shock is plain on Zack's face. You're going to lead us? Not I. The planet itself. I am only its instrument. The floor shatters beneath them, collapsing into a vortex of rushing green light. The church crumbles, and they fall into the life stream, swallowed in its roaring brilliance. So that's the first piece. So I call that one Sanctuary Falls. That would be an interlude. And here's the second interlude. Surreal landscape spiraled downward. Nibelheim in flames. Sector 7, frozen, mid-plate collapse. Aerith's altar in the forgotten capital, dripping corrupted Mako. Everything flickers, unstable. They descend the path between worlds. Zack smashes debris. Aerith stabilizes crumbling bridges. Genesis stops before a swirl of broken memory fragments. Zack scratches the back of his head. What now? Another wall? Aerith reaches toward the flickering fragment as it lashes out with corrupted Mako. Genesis, raising a flaming hand, says, "Steady, let me be your shield." His hand ignites with crimson fire. Minerva's image flickers behind him, golden, angelic. Aerith's expression hardens. She pushes forward, memories aligning under her touch. She's guiding me. Together, Aerith and Minerva's powers align the fragments until the distortion resolves into a path forward. They advance deeper. A seismic rumble shakes the world. From the abyss, a feral life stream weapon bursts forth. A gargantuan construct-like creature, erupted, glowing black and purple. Not this again, Aerith gasps. Genesis narrows his gaze. Onyx weapon. Zack steps in front of Aerith. Guess we don't get through without a fight. Then Genesis draws his sword. We burn the corruption away. A boss battle begins. A fight, combining their strength. Zack's relentless strikes, Aerith's shields and wards, Genesis' purifying fire. The weapon falls, its dark carapace dissolving into rainbows of light. The ground beneath splits apart, revealing a spherical tear in reality. Whispers and purple mist, the opening. Singularity within the life stream, Aerith whispers. It leads straight to him, Sephiroth. Zack grits his teeth, and we follow before the planet breaks. And the third interlude, Convergence of Worlds. And the material. Sorry, Lee, you got me.
I whipped up those whispers real quick. Sorry.
Just going across the screen.
All right.
Yo,
All right.
do we?
All
Do
right.
we? Oh, back to it. Okay.
Okay,
Right,
we're
yeah.
test screens again.
In the material world, Cloud's party battles Sephiroth amidst roaring winds and collapsing stone. Sparks fly as the Buster Sword and Masamune lock. Within the life stream, the trio faces Sephiroth's transcendent form. Vast, wreathed in black tendrils, tethering him to both realms. The battlefield is a void of flowing green, ethereal purple, and burning black. Aerith looks to Zack and Genesis. The tether runs through both worlds. If we sever it here, Cloud can finish it. Zack completes her thought. Genesis ignites a crimson aura, raising his blade. And let us relive Loveless together. 3 friends. He looks at Zack and points towards Sephiroth's transcendent form. And the goddess. He smiles at Aerith. At this point, there would be an intercut montage between the physical and the metaphysical. Cloud and Sephiroth clash, steel ringing. Zack parries in the spiritual plane, creating an opening. Sid calls in a salvo from the high wind, and Kate Sith rides Red, who charges wildly. Aerith channels holy light, shielding Tifa and Barrett through the life stream. Vincent rages in his chaos form as Yuffie rains down ninjutsu magic. Genesis unleashes a protector's flame, burning Sephiroth's black tether between worlds. Aerith and Zack strain, shouting into the void together. Now, Cloud! In the physical world, Cloud's eyes flare. The guttural cry, With a guttural cry, he unleashes the ultimate technique, Omni Slash. Sephiroth is carved to ruin as light erupts from his form with each new cut. The tether shatters across both planes. In the life stream, Sephiroth's transcendent form dissolves. The void quiets. Genesis staggers, his body glowing, fading. Gackt's voice cracks in desperation. Hey, don't you? Genesis smiles faintly. Legend shall speak of sacrifice at world's end. He vanishes in light. Aerith and Gackt stand in silence within a now restored church. Yellow flowers glowing peacefully once again. Gackt's voice is quiet, almost choked. You think that was his plan all along? Aerith kneels in the flower bed and smiles. Not his, the planet's. Fade to black.
Yo,
There you go.
not gonna lie, the last part kind of was kind of got me a little hype. I got a little hype. I got a little hype. So
Wait,
I'll take a little hype.
I just have to say, when you said the loveless part,
yeah,
That gave me
let
the
us
same
relive loveless together.
dude, that gave me the same energy as like, wow, what is this? Some kind of Final Fantasy?
I like the subtle look at Aerith and say, "And the goddess." That's good. That's good. Oh man. So basically, what you're saying here is that all of that takes place in the live stream, or in like in the that world that Zach has been in. Yeah, like
Yeah.
in Rebirth, where Zach is never in the physical realm, like he's never in the physical plane of existence there where Cloud and the rest of everybody's at, but rather within the live stream there is a battle going on. We saw that in Rebirth. We saw the Whispers battling each other. We saw that Sephiroth is in there trying to do something. So there's a battle within the planet, and it makes you think that if Genesis is going to come back in some sort of way, it would kind of make sense if he is truly in tune with the planet, like he's able to do that stuff. We saw at the end of Crisis Core where he was either, it's unclear to me, I don't know, maybe chat can help me out. It's unclear to me if he is just envisioning this thing and it didn't actually happen. This is just kind of what he's envisioning. He walks up to Minerva. He's in the live stream, surrounded by live stream, and Minerva, to me, looks like she kind of denies him of that, but I like what you put that spin on it, where it's like, no, she gave me life. Like, she gave me, she did cure the degradation. The degradation. The degradation.
Damn old degradation.
Yeah. It did cure him, and he was able to live after that. But so it's like, okay, so he is a self-proclaimed protector of the planet. Like, I don't know if the planet itself was like, oh yeah, you're our new weapon. You're literally a weapon now. Like you're a planet's protector. I don't know if that's the case, if Minerva blessed him with that, but he seems to think that is the case. And if he is down there thinking about like, oh, when the planet needs me, I will be there. I like somebody put it in chat. I don't know who it was. Maybe Toolman. Somebody was like, meteor about to hit the planet. I sleep. I sleep. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But no, it is interesting. So like, if this is a threat that goes beyond the meteor, this is a threat that is beyond even the events of Dirge of Cerberus. Like this is a threat that is this is Sephiroth, who's still somehow trying to remake the planet. Like he is trying to. He knows the future. He knows everything that's going to happen, and now he's trying to literally remake things. And I think that might be Genesis waking up and going, no. And like, if he's able to kind of tap into the live stream, or if he's in a different world at the beginning or at the end of Dirge of Cerberus, or maybe even Advent Children and all that stuff was a different world. Like it wasn't even after the end of OG. It was literally just a different world. There they are. Let them swim by.
Oh man.
So it is like, because he says in Loveless, he's like, in a world that abhors you and I. So he's yeah, to a world. Is this my friend? Do you fly away now to a world that? Yeah. So I don't know. We're referring to worlds. I'm sorry.
Had to happen at some point.
You're doing really great, man.
So yeah. So if Genesis is able to come back, like at the end of Dirge of Cerberus, that was a world that like Zack, like those are the kind of worlds that even like in the interludes, right? So Dirge of Cerberus, the secret ending, is Genesis waking up in a world that is ending. Like just like like in Rebirth, those worlds were meteors coming in and just destroying all of the worlds. And maybe it is not the OG world, because I would not like that. But so maybe but maybe this world's ending and Genesis wakes up and says, all right, we're out of here. We're getting out of this world that exists within the life stream that will return to the planet. He does return to the planet, and there he is able to assist Zack and Aerith, and I believe, I truly believe, I do that Zack woke up in the church. That Cloud created that world when he parried the attack, and Aerith is alive in that world. Zack is in that world where Aerith is alive. So when your story time with Excalibur said that, Genesis shows up.
Hey.
Sean Connery now. Genesis. I can't talk tonight. I words professional out here, y'all. I words professional. So Genesis shows up in the church. That was kind of crazy. I don't know if he would be there at that very moment, like right at the beginning. We're getting Genesis, boom. But I do think maybe we'll see Zack and Aerith reunite in part 3 in that world that they're in, and they're going to have to fight on that front, the spiritual front of this war that is happening right now that Sephiroth has created. So they're on the spiritual front within the live stream, Zack and Aerith, and do we get to play as them? Maybe. So you get a Zack, Aerith, and Genesis party composition? That's kind of crazy. Now, Renaissance Elf did say we left out Angeal. That's a good point. So does Angeal
I didn't. I put him in my VR combat simulators. I'll have you know. Hey, I thought about Angeal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, now we can do an Angeal hypecast next week.
Any word on his voice actor? Is he returned?
Is he coming back? What's going on? What's going on here? Yeah, so an Angeal. Oh, not an Angeal. A Genesis, Aerith, and Zack combination within the live stream. That's something. What do you think, Chad? Is that guy? Did they do anything for you? But if they're fighting the battle, and like story time with Excalibur said, where at the finale you're fighting Safer Sephiroth and fighting just like in Rebirth, where you were fighting, I call him Bizarro Sephiroth, but you were fighting Sephiroth Reborn, and you're fighting him on multiple fronts, like interdimensional, and like even the Ultimania says that Sephiroth is what is it, transcendent, like or what they call him, like he's able to be in all of those different places at one time. What's the word? Come on, omniscient.
Omnipresent.
Thank you, omnipresent. Yeah. Yes, he's omnipresent. He's there everywhere, and you're literally if Zack hits Sephiroth, he feels it in the world where Cloud was fighting him, and then like so they're all teaming up to fight him, and he's able to do that. So Safer Sephiroth, I imagine, is going to be something similar, right? Because, or unless if he's already reunited fragmented space-time, because that's what he said he was going to do, right? In the Sephiroth Reborn description, he seeks to reunite fragmented space-time and all that other stuff, bring it all together. The reunion happens. Maybe as the reunion is happening, or the reunion has already happened, I kind of pitched this idea that I was like, I don't think this would go over very well. But maybe they fight Genova Synthesis. Maybe it's not for the party, like in the physical realm. Maybe Genova Synthesis is the fight that happens for Aerith and Zack and Genesis something. But yeah. What's going on, man? What are we doing? Is that a Frozen Lee? I think that's a Frozen Lee. That's a Frozen Lee. He's way too happy for way too long about Genesis. That's Frozen Lee. Okay, he's good. All right, he's good.
I'm good.
All right, he's good.
Oh, sorry. Wait, my bad. We got.
Yeah, there they go. Yeah, they come in. They didn't like that. The whispers took that idea away. All right, chat. I'm curious of what you guys think, and I'm curious of what fans think in general, right? So what I want to do is I do want to throw this over to the Discord and then over on Twitter and in the chat. So this is your chance, chat. I know you guys have been sounding off, so hopefully we'll have... what do you think, Lee? Can you go through chat, find some interesting stuff there?
Oh boy.
Can you do that?
The Final Fantasy is here.
I got excited. It's the Final Fantasy is here. Holy crap! It's the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I've been in chat actually for. So,
good to have you here. Good to have you here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, and then I like what Angela.
This whole podcast is about you, actually. The Final Fantasy.
I like what Sapphire Raven's saying, that Angeal did accept his death and return to the planet in Crisis Core. So it's okay if he's kind of left out of this a little bit. He dissolved into the life stream. He gave his body up to the life stream, his form, right? Whereas Sephiroth refused. Aerith also, and on the way to a smile and all that other stuff, right? So Genesis also refused. because he did it because he's the protector of the planet. He didn't dissolve into the live stream because he needs to be there when the live stream when the planet needs him. Okay. So while Lee's going to go through chat, Wiley, Scalabro, can you go through the Twitter post that Night Sky Prince reshared and kind of let's get their thoughts in there as well. No, the planet would allow Angeal to return. I disagree with that sentiment. No, the planet would allow Angeal to return. Yes, so that's what I said. Just maybe I don't know. I didn't say it right. But yeah, Renaissance Elf, I agree. No, the planet would accept Angeal, or are you saying would not allow it? I think the planet did allow Angeal to dissolve into the live stream, and Angeal also gave his body up to the live stream, to become part of the flow. He returned. Okay. T800 says, I can see Genesis being part of the Chadley quest, kind of like a proto-relic one in Rebirth. You'll gather all the bits of information on him, and then it will lead to a boss fight, like a super boss. Maybe in the VR. Maybe he helps you gather the Knights of the Round. Maybe he's part of the Choco Relic.
Oh my god, yeah. The Choco Relic is real.
The Choco Relic's real.
I want a Chocobo with a Genesis jacket on it. Yo, Dan,
yes.
Somebody was asking if you've been advertising for a special podcast all this episode.
Absolutely. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see that the FF9 Roundtable featuring me and Gaming with Spoons, Wednesday, September 10th on Resonant Arc. So youtube.com/Resonant Arc. Please go check them out. Now, here's what I want for everybody to do. I see that we got 44 concurrent viewers. I imagine that 44 of you have already known about Resonant Arc. And you probably are already subscribed. Now, if you are not, what I want you to do right now, you can come back to the stream, you can open up in a new tab. I want you to go subscribe to Resonant Arc and say, you're here, Final Fan TV sent you, or FFTV sent me. And if you want to, you can tell them that you're excited about the upcoming FF9 Roundtable. You could tune into the FF9 Roundtable and leave a comment there and let them know that you're here. You know, because I love seeing Final Fan TV, right? Just let them know that having me on their show was not only awesome because it's me, but also because it's beneficial to them that my audience is here for them as well. So that would mean a lot to me. That would be one of the coolest things you guys could do for me right now, is to go there. If you have not been a subscriber to Resonant Arc, please go to Resonant Arc and subscribe and let them know that FFTV sent you, or that you're here for FFTV or for the roundtable and whatever. Cool. Thank you so much for that. Do that. And plus, I think the FF9 roundtable went pretty good. It's I'm also with Gaming with Spoons there. And if you don't know what Resonant Arc is, they do deep dive analysis of not just Final Fantasy, but they do a lot of Final Fantasy, but also just video games in general, the video game stories, and they really deep dive in and break these things down. And my personal opinion, I think they're the best at doing that. They are the best at what they do. So it was an honor to be on their show. It's daily listening for me. So thank you for doing that. And thanks for reminding me to say that, Lee.
No problem. Somebody, if I can throw names out on this one, but somebody was like, you guys know that you've had the wrong Roman numeral up this entire time, and it was not the wrong Roman numeral.
Bro, I was like...
Is in fact the correct one.
Because we're talking about 7, and then I have FF9 roundtable as if this is the round table. Oh, my bad.
that would have been. Well, we're more of like the triangular table.
Yo, I put Oh, what is that? Oh no.
3 heroes.
The 3. We are the we're the 3 heroes.
Chat? Who's who? Who's the traveler?
Prisoner? Who's the traveler?
Yeah, can you let us know? I want to know who you think we are.
Obviously, Excalibur is Genesis.
Oh well. Well, in this case,
Vito.
Dude, just take off the jacket. I know it's fire, but you're getting too close. Like I blink and I just see Gackt in our panel right now. It's like it's
try to get Gackt on. He wouldn't answer.
Yeah, he was too busy doing voice work.
Doing his voice work. That's right.
Yeah, he's got 200 voice lines because he's now in the main story. Oh no! Oh no! Well, I got some stuff on Twitter to go over if you want.
Please.
All right. So we got Nice Guy in his own thread saying, I don't think it would show up in the main story because they have too much going on. The rest of the OG story, the weapon, Zack, whatever's going on with Aerith, the worlds, Glenn, Wutai War, I don't know where he fits in logically other than VR, which is something that we said, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have the Hylian that says, I'm honestly hoping he's part of the main story. Would tie the knot left by the compilation and serve as the perfect send-off for a wild trilogy. If they're intentionally going nuts with the story, go all the way in. And
actually, I kind of agree with that logic. If we are gonna just go off the wall, just full send it. You
You
might as well. Don't hold back. If like
kind of already have. We kind of already have. It's like it's
right.
Too late to adhere to the original game, I think, at this point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think more satisfying conclusion would be the conclusion to everything. Like, give me a definitive end. Don't leave it open. I think Katase even said that he's hoping that there's a happier ending for all of the characters. And it's like, and they even had like, I don't know if they had a rewrite or they were like, yeah, I remember an interview where he's like, spoke with either Tetsuya Nomura to kind of write the ending to be more happy or something. I don't know. But it seems like that was the ending in mind, and if it's a happier, more fulfilling ending for these characters, well, you can't go into On the Way to a Smile. They should be at the smile.
Okay.
For some reason, when I said that, I was looking directly into your eyes, Lee.
Dude.
I had direct eye contact with you, just like,
holy crap! That's actually the subtitle for part 3. It's gonna be Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, just all the way. We're ditching the RE. It's just regarding a smile.
That's smile.
Regarding a smile.
Yeah, regarding a smile. Oh my god, dude! How can you be on the way to this if you already at this? Part 3 is on the way.
At the smile.
I'm just saying.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for that.
And that's all I gotta say about that. So
that's all I gotta say
about that. All right, Excalibur, do you have more for us?
Yeah, so the next piece down the same thread, the Hylian said, I think the story is beyond saving either way. But at
Oh,
least
wow.
Let it be some fun.
Oh my god.
Let's have
Let
some
it be
fun.
some-
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, let it have some fun entertainment for folks who like compilation. Dialing back to what are you saying, Lee?
I'm sorry, like it's just that came off so passively aggressively. It's like it's so far gone. Just screw it. Let's just have fun.
Let them have fun with it, man.
It's like, all right, well, we've already dug this hole. Might as well keep going. Maybe we'll hit gold.
So we have Phantomir says, I don't see why he would be reduced to nothing but a VR fight when he's important to Sephiroth's past. They've teased him so much. Plus, with Weiss and Nero technically as part of the main game, it'd be a huge disservice to the fandom and Loveless. Interesting.
Yeah,
Then
but that's the idea that we keep. Not to like spin tires or anything, but like that would be the idea. It's like, oh yeah, he is important after part 3. Like, and it's just like, oh, but so what do you want? You know, what do you want?
And we've got Prof Noctis says, counterpoint, most of Rebirth played it too safe. So let's throw him in the main story to really spice things up. Like put him on the cannon during the Scarlet and Tifa slap.
Stop it. Oh, stop it, Prof. Stop it, Prof.
Yeah, sure, let's have Sephiroth and Angel's fight take place in that moment. They actually cut the cannon and Tifa and Scarlet fall. Yeah, it'll be great. I think.
Oh my god.
Wait. Coming around the cannon. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's gonna be a fun hypecast. Can't wait to talk about the cannons.
The cannons.
I know somebody who loves
the
them.
cannon. I said cannons with a plural just because of Transformers. All right, guys. All right, all right. I was talking about the cannon. The cannon.
So Lee, this comment right here, this guy's after your own heart, bro. This is nudes, NOODZ. Okay.
Absolutely.
I hope there is a Genesis gauntlet inside Chadley's VR where we find out. Hold on, where we find out they're actually the same person.
What is it I said earlier? Let's take the two most divisive characters and just somehow link them together. That Chadley is just Genesis's alt. So that he can get close, so he can protect the planet in his own little way.
Yo, we got some Knights of the Round stuff going on in chat where the Final Fantasy,
He's
Final
here.
Fantasy.
Says, what if Genesis introduces the party, the Knights of the Round, and then Madam Burb says, what if Genesis is King Arthur? Like, what if Genesis is the
the Knights of the Round?
And the final attack is like Genesis coming down. It's the Genesis avatar from Crisis Core, and he tucks his sword underneath, and then he goes boom, just like he does in Crisis Core. Nobody. No. I get the feeling that you guys haven't played Crisis Core in a while.
It's been a minute, but yeah.
Yeah, the avatar, that's what he does. He's like got two moveset, but one of those moves is he tucks the sword underneath, and then he goes boom, and it's like, hey, that would fit perfectly with Knights of the Round. So I don't know. I'm just trying to roll with it.
You know, never mind. I don't even want to think of this idea. I had an idea, and then I was like, wait a minute. If Chadley makes materia of summons and they're through simulation combat, could we not get a Genesis summon? Oh no!
Hey, Apocalypse. I don't know, just like his ultimate move in Crisis Core, Apocalypse.
I found a comment that mentions something that we didn't think of.
Oh, okay.
Unless I just
that's not true. I thought of everything.
Yes, I thought of it. I just didn't say it.
I just haven't. Yeah, exactly. I just don't be saying it.
Well, to complement the points that you gentlemen did not bring up.
Okay. Thank you for phrasing like that.
A young Genesis for the Sephiroth story would make a lot of sense. Somebody says. Old man Sasaki says.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
As I thought of it before already, clearly. No. I think actually. If he has to be in, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna be in the story, but like it would be kind of interesting if we're gonna add to his character, and if we want to, touch on things with like Glenn or Sephiroth, younger Sephiroth, whatever. Like it'd be cool seeing earlier adventures I don't know how they would integrate it, but if it was like a flashback sequence that somehow builds some character to Sephiroth, and we see Angel and Genesis, and you get fan service for both of them, I'm okay with that if it's done well, and it doesn't do something like, you know, put him into a beloved scene and make the whole scene recontextualized to the point that our understanding of it is not like what it was, you know.
I preferably would rather see Genesis in the present, like messing around with like present stuff, than like going into the past again. I don't want to inject any more Genesis into the past stories. So like,
well, I'm saying so far back that it doesn't actually interject.
So
with
far
anything
back that it doesn't
like we don't
matter.
need. Yeah, right. Like, sure,
Yeah.
if he was, you know, with Sephiroth and Angel, and we just have them broing out. Whatever.
So what you're talking about is the theory that I have, where instead of piecing back together Cloud's subconscious, we're piecing back Sephiroth's, and we're putting back his childhood together, and therefore we're putting Sephiroth back together, and he's going to be the hero again. We're going to have to go fight Genova Complete.
Oh, and we're going to fight Bizarro Cloud this time?
That's it. Yeah, I've logged off. And that is the end of the show. I'm sorry about that one, y'all. But I will say this to close out the show. Actually, two things to close out the show. First thing, the Final Fantasy has weighed in on the question that was asked earlier. I am Zach the puppy. And said,
oh yes,
actually,
checks out.
Excalibur might be Sephiroth. And that leaves you.
I'll take.
Oh,
you know,
just turn it around. That's it.
Let me just put a whole other hole in my wall real quick. Listen, I care for this blade greatly. I'm not gonna do anything.
Well, there is certainly and Jill. There's certainly a lot of mystery involving Genesis, and a lot of questions, a lot of theories to go across and go through. And what I want to do is I want to ask you, the audience, go ahead and comment on this video. I love you in chat. Thank you so much. Commenting on the video will greatly improve the algorithm. And leave this comment: major role, minor role, cameo, or Easter egg reference, or nothing at all. What do you want to see of Genesis? And do me a favor, because it has been absolutely wonderful to see it every week on the Hypecast. Hype. All caps, exclamatory. Put a couple of those to show me how hype you are. All right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I would love for you to do. Do not forget, please, if you haven't heard of Resonant Arc, let me know in the comments that you went over to Resonant Arc and subscribed, because like that would be awesome too. I want to know how well it's doing. Already comment. The Final Fantasy already comment. Yo, listen, everybody take note. All right. The Final Fantasy is on it right now. All right. Thank you so much for that.
This whole channel's this is why we have a Final Fan TV. It's for the Final Fantasy.
It's for the Final Fantasy right now.
That's it.
So I really do appreciate you, the Final Fantasy, and everybody else in chat tonight. Thank you so much for coming in and just and getting hype with us, having some fun with it. It is Genesis, but next week we'll be back with. I don't know.
You say it like it's the plague.
It
is Genesis.
It is the Genesis. It is the Genesis. All right.
Full disclaimer.
Next week, though, I don't know. The Dragoon King will be on a beach, so maybe there will be some sort of beach theme. Take that as you will. We're getting hyped for next week. Close out the summer with a beach-themed episode. What does that say? Does that sound good? Let's do that. All right. And as I said, so much mystery involved. Just so much mystery. And infinite in mystery is the gift of the goddess. We seek it thus and take to the sky. And we take care now.